Okay. I think we're live. Never can tell. One of these days I'll figure it out and I'll know exactly when it's live. But anyway, hello. We are here finally. The end of 2025 in a few more days. So what we're going to do, last year and maybe year before, I can't remember that far back. What's Up Twice did. Last year I made the videos like, oh, here's my plans for 2025. And then I thought I was going to do the same thing coming up in the new year. Yeah, it's this guy again. It's me. So I was like, man, everybody does that. And then everybody's probably tired of watching my plans for 2020, whatever videos. But I did want to go back and like, all right, how many goals, how many things did I actually hit and do and what happened? Because, you know, a lot of people you follow, sometimes, you know, plans fall through. Sometimes they're no fault of your own, but they don't really get talked about. So I was like, it'd be interesting to kind of get into that and see what happened behind the scenes in case people were actually wondering. It's true, I'm skipping every recap. Yeah, see, it's kind of nonsense. So I thought it would be more interesting. I mean, it's not nonsense. It's good to share with your audience what you're doing. But since I only release videos every 2 weeks, consuming one of those slots I felt was like a waste for me, and I don't have the capacity to make an extra video. There's Grimwood. So that's why I'm like, well, let me just do a stream and recap, because the stream I don't have to edit. I just get in here and do what it is. So gotta be careful what I say. Make sure I don't make any promises I can't keep. Oh, there's Sage too. Yeah. So Grimwood had some very ambitious goals. Was it 8 to 10 conventions next year, 20 new TTRPGs. I didn't even play that many this year, new ones, and like half of my channel is reviewing TTRPGs, and then I had a marathon in December of playing new ones. I hit like 12 maybe. So good luck to you, sir. But anyway, I was like, well, let's just, I'll be a react channel today. And I don't know whether I should be really annoying and obnoxious or just be the other type of reactor who pushes play on the video and goes to leave and make pizza rolls. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and watch my video. I'll probably skip around a little bit, because I don't need to watch it in full detail. I just kind of want to see what I talked about, and then we'll see what happened from there. 8 convention sounds crazy. It does, doesn't it? But see, I'm not sure about his location exactly, but if he was somewhere like Peter, that probably wouldn't be very difficult, because I think Peter, because where he is, like, there's lots of little conventions he could just hit up like every other weekend or something. You know, it's just like 20, 30 minutes down the road or whatever. So for me to hit 8 conventions, that's like 8 road trips or 8 flights. So nothing's around here. A lot of folks talking about, I mean, didn't nobody talking about the quality of that time. Yeah, see, I just did Gen Con this year, and that was granted, that's like the biggest one you can go to, but one was enough for me. I want to try and hit up PAX next year, because more of the people I know get to go to that one, and I'll meet them, and maybe a CleasyCon. We'll see. Don't tell DM Tales. There are no cons around you. Yeah, see. Not having to go cross country. Yeah, that helps. You have a convention almost every month this year. Jeez. So are you going to have a booth there at some of them, I would imagine? That's what I need to do. Actually, we might talk about that. Coming up. I've never been to a con, but it sounds like a nightmare. It's busy. Some of them are better than others. But anyway, I'm going to push play on the video here. Let's see if we can get some audio going.
All right, y'all, look, we got to talk about this cornbread poll. Some
That's
of y'all
loud.
are not eating cornbread, and we're going to have to talk about that.
I remember that poll.
Hello, and welcome back to A Squirrel Plays. I'm going to need y'all to strap in and listen up, because what I've got lined up for today requires both of us to participate. I'll start off as normal with the video you're watching now and share what I've got thoughts and around here. One.
Let me fast forward. Oh, I remember that.
All right, so let's lay...
I remember that.
All right, so let's lay up that.
All right. So what was on the agenda? Nuts, TTRPG reviews, regular videos, and branding. Oh yeah, branding. Like that's the thing I waited till the very end of the year to do.
Then there's a chat about the collaboration things I've got cooking, followed by a couple miscellaneous things at the end.
All right.
Too many sections for all am I doing with it.
What did I say about
now, despite how it started, is to make a legitimate book for it. Whether that's just in PDF form or an actual physical book remains to be determined, but I really would like to get a real artist or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 to work up some artwork and make a proper layout and everything else for it. You know, instead of it just all being done in PowerPoint, despite how much I may enjoy that. I would like to keep it as a pay what you want.
So, a little off topic here. I feel like most of you know this, but Crabsoft's a little newer around here. So at the end of every year, that's my excuse to make one dumb video. But it's also me trying to push my editing capabilities. Like I want to try. It's like I'll try and learn new things here and there when it makes sense in a video just to try a fun little editing technique. But at the end of the year, I try to like really push it. So last year was Squirrel Death Squad. I got to do a bunch of funny, silly things. It's like, it's a cringy, dumb little video, but like I had fun making it. It's super fun. I really like the one I made. I've got it done already for this year. And it drops like, because of the way my video rotation works, it's the very first day of the year. So the next video coming out is going to be my dumb video. So good times.
Type of deal on ttrpg, but
well, I brought all that up because of the editing quality. I actually got to do some pretty cool things. I used the Fusion page, is what they call in DaVinci, not PowerPoint. The fancy border. Yeah, man, it's my little whiteboard tray with the markers and stuff in there. It is a little. And say, I got confused. I didn't know what to do for the longest time because I thought I was just going to do videos, and then people started inviting me to streams, and I'm like, do I turn my camera on? It's like, I don't know what to do because I don't mind turning it on and showing my face, but like people expect a squirrel. So do I just put a squirrel picture there? Do I turn the camera on? So, hey, PowerPoint's pretty handy. That's nice.
There are some modules I would like to sell for it at like a whopping $1 a piece or something silly. And this is where I would like some feedback.
All right. So actually getting back to 2025 goals here. So with Nuts, I do have... Nuts is a very small game. For those of you who didn't know, it's a little TTRPG I made. It wasn't supposed to get as far as it did. It was just a little thing for me and a couple close friends to play, and then more and more people started playing it, and people were like, hey, this is actually pretty good. Do something with it. So I'm like, okay. I do have an idea for a book. Very loose term there on that word, because it's a very small game. If it's possible, the physical version would be like that really thick cardboardy kind of paper, almost like a kid's book on a little spiral bound thing, and just a small thing because every page is supposed to be one concept. Like that's it. Just blah, blah, blah. That way you can just flip to it, slide it around. Yeah, Grimwood Games likes it. We've played it a lot. So obviously the physical one you had to pay for it. The goal is still just a PDF, pay what you want. Like if you want to go grab it for free, it's currently free setting in a Google Drive folder. That's still the goal. I was going to make modules for it. It's like, okay, maybe I'll have pay what you want for the base game, and then modules that I sell for like $1 or something. Just little small things. And as I got to working on the modules, you know, I wanted to make a big world building lore dump. That way you could use it in whatever game you wanted. It wasn't just for Nuts. Like you'd be paying for a world lore dump, not Nuts stuff. Only vaguely remember Nuts. Is it pamphlet sized or it's... You could probably squeeze it down if you really wanted to condense it onto a very small thing, but the way I made it, it comes with 3 different game modes, so it explains different ways you can play this. It's more like a Lego kit that you can kind of do what you want with, so it consumes a few more pages that way. But if I just picked one mode and said, yep, this is how you play it, it would be very small. Need a squirrel overlay. Try to convince me zines were zines, not zines. Okay, zines. I had a video on that. Have you considered that? Yeah, zines. I feel like are. It's hard for me to say what's becoming more popular because I haven't been in the hobby that long. So, but just my short time, I have seen a rise of zines. Yeah, very modular. So anyway, as I was working on that, Nuts is a very setting agnostic, do what you want kind of thing. Your skills, which are called shells, because Nuts, haha, very funny. They're very not broad, but like open-ended. So they have defined mechanics, but your flavor is completely up to you. So like one is called Hard Hitter, and it does more damage than normal. That's it. It's like if that's you throwing fireballs, if that's you with a bazooka, if that's you with a sniper rifle, if that's you with a little dagger hitting the sweet spots, like that's entirely up to you, and your flavor and narration is what drives the difficulty of everything. So you just have these little set mechanical features, and then you fill in the blanks. So when I was working on modules and I was like trying to come up with new shells that fit the setting specifically, I was like, it's kind of the same. Essentially, long story short, I realized the system I made worked, which was a shock to me. So I was like, okay, I can't just make new shells for all these modules because it's just the same thing. So what I realized is like, well, let me do it like the Lego kit it's supposed to be. Let me make little tweaks here and there. For example, your primary resource is your challenge dice, and I'm going to, and hopefully early 2026, run a vampire based setting / one shot for Nuts, and it's going to just make a small little tweak to the rule that refreshes your challenge dice to make it feel more like you're vampires and consuming the people that you do unkind things to. So that's what I'm going to kind of gear towards on the modules, is like, okay, big lore dump, world building setting thing, and then just a few mechanical tweaks to the game to make it feel more like that setting. So if you're playing in Fallout, here's a couple rules for weapon durability. Done. And then that's all you need. So zines are becoming more popular. Yeah. And I thought, see, I hadn't ever seen that word until I got into YouTube and started making all this stuff, and I thought it was zines because that's how it's spelled. So anyway, that's that. And I can put some on the board here. Let me, I did find artwork for Nuts. It's actually Peter's wife over from Tales from Elsewhere. Let's see. My homebrew systems. I got more than one, but don't tell nobody. Character art. And some of you have seen this. If I just like drag this little guy, yeah. Like my blob. These are just some. And I figure for what Nuts is, these are perfect. Like, Nuts is a lighthearted, do what you want. You can make a dark and gritty thing with it if you want to. But the idea is like, I was going to get these in color too, but then I saw the black and white ones and I was like, I think that works a whole lot better because Nuts is all about filling in the blanks where you want. So it's like, here's just, that's why, and that's another reason they're called shells instead of skills, because you're supposed to fill them up. Like, that's just the shell of it, and you fill in the rest. So I think I'm just going to get a ton of these black and white sketches. Artwork for Nuts, don't Google that. So, and I have plans. She does, it's wonderful. I have an idea for a very non-traditional Kickstarter, because it's very silly to make a Kickstarter and ask for money for a game that's going to be pay what you want. So I want to give people a way to put their handprint on the game without actually running the game, and that would be through the artwork. So these, like all these pictures I got from her, I just, minus the squirrel, I just gave her like a 1-sentence prompt, and she felt like this blob was just a JRPG slime going on an adventure. She decided to make him a donut and like give him his little sword and shield and backpack and everything. This guy right here, I was like, give me a little adventure dude with Mega Man style proportions. And she came up with the little amphibian frog get up here theme and everything. Like she had a good old time. So I was like, okay, let's build a bee. I'm going to keep stick figures. Yes. So maybe not nuts, but in my videos. So I'm thinking people, I'll have a limited number of slots because I can't squeeze in 1,000 pictures in the art or in the book. So I'll say like, for shell art, this many slots, for this rule page, this slot, but you do your pledge, your Kickstarter pledge, and then you're going to send me the 1 or 2 sentence prompt. So that way it would be your character, and I'll like put your name in there in the book too. So I think that would be cool, a nice way for people to contribute to something that's going to essentially be free. So that's that.
Whopping $1 a piece or something silly. And this is where I would like some feedback. Originally, I wanted to make
we got that
and all that good stuff, but it would also possibly be on where everyone played as robots. Some of the skills being...
I was talking about a module I was working on.
That's a cooler or more and considered a real option module out for you and the like.
We discussed all
TTRPG reviews. Obviously, these take a bit more of work to do. They're a little longer to make and edit, but also it involves not only getting my hands on a copy, but getting a group together to play at least once before reviewing it. Although, on that note, this is where I have teamed up with Avenue Studios, which is going to help immensely with that, but a little more on that later.
And later is now. So... still going to do TTRPG reviews. Even though those videos don't get a ton of views, they're what they call evergreen content. So if I make a review on EZD6 2 years ago, like I did, that is still relevant today. It's still the same game. Excuse me. If somebody is interested in playing EZD6 or buying it, and they're like, well, let me go find a review and see what it is, that video is still relevant. So those are good to have in the backlog. And I've mentioned before that technically the smarter thing to do would be to have a different channel, a Squirrel Reviews or whatever. That's just those reviews, but I don't want to upkeep that. So I am going to be stubborn and try to do it all on one. So I will continue to do those because I have gotten very strong, very positive feedback on the TTRPG reviews. Like people really, 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 really like the way I do that. Yeah, because there's a certain way to do that. And I've had some experience in there, so that's why I was able to slip into that a bit easier than the rest of the things I've been getting into. Some people have been like, hey, have you ever thought about like getting into video games? And it's like, the internet is not ready for me to talk about video games. I have accidentally slipped into that a couple times and people were very, very angry because I have some very strong opinions about modern video games. So staying out of that one. My reviews get the most hits to start when they keep going. Not mine, man. Mine are like Ironbound did pretty good for a review, not just a video in general. It did good. World Shapers got a lot of views because it was promoted. EZD6 got that's my most watched video is the EZD6 review. So I don't know if I just got lucky timing on that one or what, but people like it. Or well, they're watching it. I don't know if they like it, but people seem to enjoy that review style. And part of the lack of views on those type of videos, it's because I review lesser known games, EZD6 aside. And at some matter of fact, I think in the video I do ask like, hey, what do y'all think about reviews on more popular games? Which I thought were kind of pointless because if everybody knows what they are, what do I need to review them for? But as I have built up a reputation that people can like compare stuff to, they're like, okay, well, I know Squirrel likes X, Y, and Z, doesn't like A, B, and C. So now that I have metrics to measure by, if I get his opinion on this popular thing, I know where he's coming from. So maybe A playlist is probably sufficient. Oh, for reviews. Yeah. So that's actually another thing. I want to clean up my playlists. I do have a TTRPG playlist. They need cleaned up a little bit, though. That is one thing I need to do. I'm not going to say I'm going to do it, but I need to. Your reviews make you jealous. They're fun to do. Like, it's trying to squeeze not all the information, take enough of the information to make sure you know exactly what you're getting into, but not all the information to where you don't have to buy the manual anymore. So it's a balance. And then doing all that while keeping it a specific length. Reviews are nice. Love me some new perspective about games that I don't really care about. That's the thing. Like, it's the discussion can be good, I guess. Like, there's no point in me reviewing Daggerheart. I mean, everybody's probably seen 3 or 4 or 5, 10 reviews on it by now. I can already tell you, I don't think I'm going to like it. So it's like, why? I would just be the negative Nancy in that case. So it's like, why do that? So I don't know. Depends on the game, I guess. Easy to 6 is probably just easier to get into, so people look for it more often as an entry. That's a good point. That is a good point. So anyway, we'll still make those videos. And I don't have a plan for like, oh yeah, I'll do one review, because again, I only do 2 videos a month. So I don't know if I should do like one regular video a month and one review a month, because then I have to make sure I have a backlog of games to review, which means I need to play them, which is why I brought up the collaboration thing here in the video, but I do get into that later. So let me see what the rest of the video says here. For now, let me give you 2 quick aces. You all to at least see what Squirrel's over at the dim, which I'm sure is... So we did Tactics, we did Fathom, and I reviewed both of those, and I reviewed and played Hellboard Descended. That one actually did really good too, view-wise, because his Kickstarter did really well, and my video was like the first on the list on his Kickstarter, so that helped, I think, immensely. I did not get to play Transformers. It's a surprise to absolutely no. Sad. I still have it. It looks a little complicated, but I have as much for self. It's a lot of fun. And then there is... Oh, that was a game. So yeah, so I don't ever really get to do it because I think people get nervous, but like people in the community, you know, everybody's making their own TTRPG, right? The redacted one here was one I played with somebody and they didn't want to be mentioned just yet. And then they were like, eventually they will want to come out, play, show it off, and do some promotions. And then they just kind of disappeared. But it was a super fun game, and I was excited to talk about it. I went and played with them and everything. So Demon Jim is his name in the server. I've played 2 of his games. Was it Metal Music Mayhem? I think's the one. I really like that. Was a simpler, like he took his more complex system and made a simpler version for that one, and it was very silly. It was very fun, and it was like super solid. So I was like, hey man, you know, let's show this off. But anyway, my point is, I do want to promote and show off what people are making in the community, even if they don't plan to do the whole Kickstarter, publish a book or anything. If they're just like, hey, here's a thing I made, like, let's just show off what people are doing, even if it's not perfect. Like, let's do it. I'd like to do more of that. It's the 2nd edition of the Magical Land of Yeld. Hey, there's that one. Game all scheduled to play, but things got a little strange. There was some yeah, it got strange. So y'all know that story. Which, by the way, I'm super surprised with the feedback on that video. Not even feedback, response. The response that video got. I was ready for a shitstorm. Like, explosions, fire everywhere. I thought it was going to be so bad. I thought there was going to be so many heads butting and people going, nope. I got 1 negative comment, and I'm still not sure it was a negative comment. I think it was sarcasm. Like, the guy was just being silly. And then a couple people, I didn't say anything to him. A couple people clapped back at him, and then he deleted his comment. So, like, other than that, everybody was on board. It got 5 dislikes, I think. So I was super surprised. and super grateful that it went the way it did. The yelled thing was a thing. Oh, it's a creepy game. Yeah, it's like I said, they were at Gen Con. They had a little tiny booth kind of tucked in the corner in the back, but they were there. And I had been meaning, I actually meant to make that video a good 5 months prior to when I released it, but somebody, I think what happens is somebody's like, hey, I need this video made and promoted in time for this Kickstarter. And like 2 or 3 of those back to back happened. So Yelled kept getting pushed back farther. And then I was like, well, dang it. Now because I only make a video every 2 weeks. I'm like, man, I'm a few months into this. And there's this other thing I had to do at a certain time. So it just got pushed all the way to the end of the year. That was my last chance to get it out before the year was out. And I was like, I said, I'm going to do it this year. So,
content in the book that raised some
oh well, yeah, I was gonna say, but another reason that I made that extra stretch at the end to do it, Bundle of Holding is that website that has a little TTRPG basically Humble Bundle specifically for TTRPGs. Yelled was in one of them, and I think it was it wasn't a Yelled bundle. It was just Yelled was in it, and that was like the flagship for that bundle. And I was just like, I guess I should make this video because a lot of people are going to be picking this up. So
eyebrows and some concerns were expressed, and well, long story short, the author backed out about I exactly look forward to making.
Valid concerns.
One that probably should be made. Now, on the later, like they're those, but at the
so finally got to play Dolmenwood. And Twice Dead so happy. Yelled feels like the consequence of Steven Universe style kid entertainment. Try to be mature for kids without knowing what mature and child for. Yeah, so the comments are very good on that video. Like there's things I didn't even consider that make it even worse, and then there's other things I didn't consider that how this could be handled and stuff like that, and just how tone deaf the whole thing was. Like it's insane. The more you look at that project, the worse it gets. Like you just cannot slice it in a way that makes it okay or good, or like, okay, you know, if I can see what they were going for, they just missed. It's like, no, it's mistakes were made. Yep. So I finally get to play Dolmenwood. I don't even have Mouse Guard yet. Somebody he was telling me all about it, and I forgot his name. He is super excited for me to try it. I think he was a big Mouse Ritter fan too, but I've already played that. So Mouse Guard looks cool. I want to play it.
At the same time, I'm still getting comments on my original EZD.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, how do you feel about reviews? Pretty well known
Mouse Ritter videos from people saying they've never heard of it before, so it would probably still be useful on. That's just what I'm not sure when.
Remember that game? That's the old cover. Tales from Elsewhere. Yeah, so... Oh, speaking of, yeah, that was one thing I wanted to mention. I mean, it's weird to say, like his beta's been floating around for a while already, but his official beta, I believe, the official beta PDF launches to the Kickstarter backers like in the new year. So in the next few days, I think people will start getting that. If you backed it, you'll get the preview version, you know, whatever you backed, you'll get the PDF, and then he'll finish the book and make adjustments. That's like, it's the beta PDF, but the game is mechanically done, I believe. And yes, they're adding the can of beans for me. I would cut Yell some slack if the author didn't make Panic Explode. Yeah, I don't know if you went and looked at the Google document I made that showed some snippets of that game. And that's the thing, right? You know, I was kind of trying to point out in the video, it's like, okay, you know, all these flags, they don't mean much on their own, but there's so many of them that don't mean much on their own. You just end up with this huge box full of flags, and you're like, none of them's a smoking gun, but boy howdy do I have a ton of flags here. So every time I dug into that, it got worse.
Peter will want that one reviewed. And of course, warning if they're crunchy or not. That doesn't mean I'll ignore them, because Fathom was a crunchy game. I just need a heads up so I know what I'm getting into.
World Shapers is crunchy.
And that brings us to part 3, which is my regular videos. I'm going to be honest here, guys. As soon as I release a video, I'm scratching my noggin trying to figure
buried in yellow flags, yeah.
Figure out what in the world my next video is going to be. I really don't want to be one of the several YouTubers out there making pointless content like my top 10 rule-breaking D&D tips, or 5 reasons why D&D is the worst, or something like that. I really enjoy making videos that can...
It's terrible AI art. So, yeah, I did have a series I wanted to do. It was like where D&D falls short for me. And I made 2 or 3 videos on that, really old, really far back there. And then I realized that's just negative. Don't need to get into it. No smoking gun, but god dang, does this smell of black? I don't know if anybody got the joke of that. Well, you can't see what I'm pointing to. The squirrel on the left there with the beard. That was supposed to be, what's his name? Ooh, I actually saw it, Gen Con. All his shorts are, I think it's just called D&D shorts. He's always talking about, here's this OP build. Here's how you make your GM go nuts. Here, this is how you break everything. I don't hate the player, but I sure hate the game, man. Like, that's terrible. I started to dunk on D&D and reached the same conclusion, just too negative. I had to scrap a whole 10-part discussion. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, what up, Scrat? I think 25 was nuts for you. Ha! Thanks, man. But yeah, Crabsoft, that was kind of the thing I've learned about D&D too. Specifically D&D, not just tabletop. D&D was very much like Souls games. You cannot say anything about a Souls game unless it's praise. If you critique it, even if you're absolutely correct in what you say, people get butthurt about it because that's their precious, and like they think there's nothing better. Like that is the ultimate. It makes them feel good about who they are. The Souls game, for obviously not everybody, but for a lot of folks, it's like, nope. Souls game has a stigma to it. It's very challenging, and if you beat it, you got good, and if you don't beat it, then you're a scrub and you suck. So when you point out that it's a very silly and actually very easy game because of the way the AI works and everything and how easy it is to abuse, like people get very upset. And then when D&D, it's like, okay, it is not this magical perfect system. It's full of flaws, and there are things out there that do this better. They just like blow up. Negativity is good in small bursts, but there are channels out there you might as well be made out purely of electrons. That's a good. Can I like pin that? D&D is so bad, then why do so many people play it? Smug look of superiority. Yeah, see that's the thing too. Like you it draws a certain type of crowd, and it's not a crowd I want to engage with, so that's why I don't make D&D content.
Tribute something, or at least attempt to, instead of just filling somebody's ear holes with audio. Like the holiday video I made recently that performed pretty poorly. It wasn't my...
See, and that's... I like the bones of D&D 5e, but the fleshing feels 30 degrees off. People can't seem to compute that just because I'm saying something's bad doesn't mean I'm blank. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, you can go play it and enjoy it. Just telling you why I didn't. Your followers know your opinion, D&D. So, I would love to make videos that are just me making something. And that's what I'm talking about here. Like, hey, let's talk about holidays and world building. Let's make some holidays. Or like the Still Sting video I did. I just made a monster. And it was like, here's this monster concept. Now, no stat blocks or anything. Just here's what it does. Like, here's the idea. Here's some lore. And here's some ways that can impact your world if you drop this creature into it. So it was kind of, hey, here's a free creature for you to go play around with and do whatever you want and use. But also here's some exercises and things to think about when you're making these things. So a little educational, but also free product, if you will. That one didn't do very well either. I would love to do more of those because like I just get to make something and show it off. But you know, YouTube, the internet tells me what I can and can't like. That's right. Demon Souls is the only Souls. I haven't played that one. I've played Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3 and Elden Ring. And I hated all of them. I love the world and the creatures are super cool and everything. The level design's neat, but it's such a gimmicky game. It's
my top 5 holidays to use for TTRPGs. It was a look at how you can use holidays in your storytelling. With any luck, you got something useful out of it other than just entertainment. I mean, I hope you were entertained too, but you get what I'm trying to say. And for me, that can be a bit difficult to do every 2 weeks. Maybe I just don't have enough brain cells to go around. I don't know. I'm going to continue to try and do it, and I do have a suggestion box in my Discord server where people go drop some very good ideas, but if...
So I guess we can check that one off, right? I did continue to make videos like that. The whole point of this discussion was to make videos that produce something, that are useful, that you can watch and be like, I learned something. Or, hey, I have a little inspiration now to go make this thing. Or you gave me something to think about, not just, okay, that was good background noise while I make pizza. Souls Review 2026? No, that's what I was saying. The internet's not ready for that. I can't handle it because I had a video. Baldur's Gate 3 was just a small part of it. The rest of the video was about Hasbro and how Baldur's Gate 3 is good for them and D&D and everything. I dunked on Baldur's Gate 3 pretty hard, and the video started going viral for me. It started getting some views very, very, very fast, and it was like 90% disliked and a bunch of negative comments, and people were like blocking and banning me from their feed and everything, and everybody missed the point of the video. All they heard was me say Baldur's Gate 3 kind of sucks, and listed some reasons why, and they couldn't handle it. They just foaming at the mouth. And yeah, in that video I said give it about a year and nobody will be talking about it, and here we are a year later and nobody is talking about it. So, but I had to delist it because it was spiraling out of control and it was just generating a bunch of negativity, and I was like, well, that's not what I want. I mean, like, I'm getting a ton of views, it's good for me, but these aren't the views I want. I think the community cares more about mechanics than world building views, unless you're a popular writer. Yeah, so we're actually going to go into that a little bit. Those kind of I made a thing videos would be better with stat blocks for some. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, and that's, I don't want to say that's not the people I want, but there are just some people you can hand them this concept, and if it doesn't have a stat block and definite rules, they don't know what to do with it. Like, they just cannot. There's nothing against them. Some people, they just need that. And I'm terrible with stat blocks, so I can't help you. A lot of the community is other devs who already have their world in mind. Rip your inbox for mentioning Baldur's Gate 3. Dude, Baldur's Gate 3 is so cringe. It really is just other devs. Yeah. DMs are kind of lazy, and having to make a conversion for your game from scratch isn't as appealing, starting with stat block. Yeah. So on the popular writer bit, I am not a popular writer, obviously, by any means. But something I lost sight of, and this is what I kind of want to steer my reorient my boat in 2026. A lot of people originally came to my channel to hear things from a writer's perspective because that's how I sold it. And then I kind of got lost in the sauce for TTRPG reviews and was still kind of trying to find my way. So 2026, and if y'all remind me, I'll get into more of this after the video, or after we get to the end of this video. I want to focus more. How do I say this? It's still going to be TTRPG related content because that's who I got adopted by, was that community. But I am going to try and talk more about TTRPG stuff through the writing lens. It actually came up in the interview with Peter, like your tone, and how you get your tone in your manual that you write for people. How do you get people immersed in that? Like, okay, that combines the two things that I know how to do. It's like I have the TTRPG community, I'm playing these games and I'm getting into them. I am also the writer, so that's, connects the two. That's a good thing to do. Tone, how do you get people immersed? Plot points that people typically don't like, character design, that kind of thing. I want to refocus on that. That way people who aren't necessarily into TTRPGs still benefit and get some writing stuff, but we'll get there. You are being adopted, do not resist. That's how it went down, man.
If you aren't there and have some suggestions, please feel free to drop them down below. I've thought about more workshop style of videos where we just make some characters or items or locations that y'all can use for your own creative works, and it seems like it would be a lot of fun. I've also been wondering if I just need to lean more into this TTRPG side of things and less general storytelling and writing discussions, because I feel like most of the people here are TTRPG players and GMs. Let me know your thoughts. I don't have a lot to say.
So I was right, but they were, from what I've been seeing of late, they're TTRPG players here for the writing perspective. So like if you want mechanic design and stuff, it's like, yeah, I can talk mechanics about it, or I can talk mechanics and whatnot, but it's generally not what I get into. That's like a Peter's channel kind of thing, Tales from Elsewhere. So like I have very strong opinions about mechanics and game design, but it's just not typically what my channel's about. And I did want to say, like, the review things, I may have touched on it. See, the reviews for TTRPGs, I do them the way I do because that is typically an individual, and they're going way out on a limb and putting themselves out there. So even when I think something's not that great in that game, I don't dwell on it. And that's not me just saying, oh, well, I'm going to say nothing but positive stuff. It's like, no, I'm going to take the positive stuff and focus on it, because there's 1,000,002 TTRPGs out there to choose from. Why dwell on the negative? Like, let me highlight the positives, and if people like those positives, they can go get it. Whereas if I was doing a video game review, and this is something made by a team of professionals who are supposed to know better, and they still do stupid shit that I can't stand, like, why does the NPC I have to follow walk faster than me or slower? You can't match the speeds. It's like, come on, guys. You've had years to figure this out. Silly things like that drive me up the wall. But individuals who make a TTRPG, a lot of them are learning stuff for the first time, and this is their first foray into the wilderness of commercialism. I don't know what you call it, but putting a product out there. Too many creators skip big parts of their process. Also, TTRPGs, if the dev slips on something or something doesn't work the best, the way TTRPGs work, you can very easily fix that. Just hand wave something away, or like, here's my little homebrew mechanic. Versus a video game, you're kind of locked in to what the devs give you, unless you get into using the cheat engine or something like that, and some trainers and hacking it open and all that good stuff. But that's usually beyond a lot of people's capability. Why are the collisions still broken? They've been broken since the first game, Howard. Yeah, good old Todd Howard. Todd Howard. Dang it, Todd.
To say on this one, but it does take us to the next thing, which is, you gotta do it. It's like part of the deal. I make a video, you like and subscribe. That's how this whole thing works. The next section is actually about branding. And if you're wondering what the heck that means or has to do with you, well, allow me to enlighten you. You see this guy right here? Yeah, that guy. That's me. That's just a stock image of a squirrel that anybody in the world can use. Same for my YouTube avatar and banner.
Okay, so y'all know this. So the squirrel is just a stock image, and actually
here,
yeah, look at his tail. So it was normally pretty ratty. I had to get Glee to, you can't see it on this still, but Photoshop some fur back in there. But that's him. It's just a stock image I use, and for the longest time, I intentionally hid his tail because it wasn't green screened very well. But then I got over it and people enjoyed it. They liked the cheap look of it. It's like, oh yeah, it's not even cropped out right. So if I could go back, I think I would have leaned even harder into the cheapness. Like I wouldn't have even had a squirrel. It just would have been all stick figures. If I'd known people were going to like those so much, like my channel avatar would just be a stick figure instead of a squirrel. And it just would have been, it would have been 100% PowerPoint. I do a lot in PowerPoint as far as my image editing and whatnot. I've since drifted and done more and more in DaVinci, but I still intentionally, you didn't even fix it well. I do intentionally try to do things cheaply, and I wanted to do that to show people, like, just go out and make something. It doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to be perfect. There's plenty of free tools available. Just duct tape that thing together and go. I mean, try and do good. And that became, this is so contradictory. To do things cheaply and simply became more complicated, or more difficult, not more complicated. It became more difficult because I am the type, and this is what my career was for like 12 years or whatever. I'm the type that constantly tries to make things better and more efficient and faster and more accurate. So obviously PowerPoint had to go to the wayside. So, so I started doing more and more in the actual video editor and everything. But the video editor is free that I use, DaVinci Resolve. So it's like, okay, I'm not losing my my point here. It's like, this is still a free tool. Granted, for my dumb video that I'm making this year, because I wanted to push my skills farther, I did finally buy the editor and got to use some fancy new features, but not going to be using those on my day-to-day. So, just the occasional fancy edit. So, yeah, if I had known, I would have leaned even harder into that cheapness. But I'm always trying to be fancier when I don't need to. I'm always shooting myself in the foot. Squirrel's awesome. Stick figure just isn't as iconic as silly stock squirrel. So yeah, and I almost forgot what I was going to say here. So I did, in the video, I'm talking about how I'm going to get a
that guy.
Artist.
That's me. Good in this line of work, but at some point it might be wiser to start using some of your actual creations. There's been more than a few times during collaborations where people have needed some kind of logo or icon or something to use, and I had nothing to give them other than the stock image. Needless to say, it doesn't work very well. Silly? Yes. Fun? Absolutely. Sensible? Well, maybe not so much. Which brings me to the ultimate question. If I were to get an actual avatar for these videos made, how shocking and unsettling would that be? It would be nice to have something with different poses and all that to look a little more alive, but at the same time, I can see how it would lose some of the charm, if you can call it that. Regardless, I
overwhelmingly negative feedback on that situation. People are like, don't get rid of the squirrel. So I'm like, okay. So, and I think that's what I say here.
We'll be getting a channel logo and banner made one way or the other.
Yeah. So even if I kept the stock squirrel in the video, the idea was like, okay, I need something for a logo and the banner. So like something recognizable, then that actually stands out and can be seen in thumbnails. So this is what we came up with. And I made a video recently about the artists I was looking through. I did not show off the one that actually made my dilly-doo. And it's by igmanny.art. A very cool guy. And he's done some very cool stuff. As a matter of fact, can I... He's got new stuff. This is his page. And I was looking at, I think it was this one. Yeah, I was looking through this and I was like, I can see him making a squirrel. Don't ask me why I thought that, but he's done some pretty cool stuff. This creepy witch thing. Yeah. Dude, that one's so freaky with the big head. That's like, gave me nightmares for a week. But anyway, that's him. And it's kind of neat too, because Igmani is like his name is Ignacio, and then M-A-N, I think. I forget, like those are all his full name kind of squished together. It's pretty neat how it works. But anyway, this is the squirrel. He's not, you're going to see him on the YouTube avatar, you know, the little circle icon. And he's going to be making an appearance in some thumbnails. Actually, all the thumbnails. That's what he's for. I'm getting more poses made. And the banner, which, how many people see the banner on your YouTube channel? But he'll be there. Yes, Glee had to help me out a lot going through the portfolio. She had, I eliminated a whole bunch, and then she eliminated some, and then we went through again and again and again and again. Yeah, that took some. It was a lot. It was like right at 100 portfolios, right? We had to go through. So anyway, that's him. That's the design. I don't know. Some of you saw the early versions, like where his ears were farther up here. He didn't have his little head hair tuft things going on. So he got, tweaked a little bit since the first I showed y'all, but that is the final result. I got to learn how much color changes across various monitors. So like when I originally got a color, well, maybe not originally, but the color I decided on, I was like, okay, this is the brown that I like. It was grayish brownish color. And I was looking at this monitor. I was like, it looks great. And then he's like, cool. And then sent me a final, and I opened it up on this monitor, and it was like 3 times as dark. And I was like, I don't like the way that looks at all. And then I started writing up an email and scooted the picture over there, and I was like, oh, just bouncing between the monitors and then put it on the monitor over here. It's like, oh, this is a whole different color over there. It's like, okay, well, I give up. So he's some kind of color. Less silly and fun, but sets the tone of what you're doing ultimately. Yep. Hiring an artist is a lot. It is. He needs glasses. Well, have I got something for you? Maybe. If I can find it. If I take these. This one isn't fully, or is it? Yeah, that one's fully shaded. There's one. I got a couple different poses. There's one where he's pointing. You got to do the YouTube point thing, you know. Got to. These are for thumbnails. And of course, got to have the money squirrel, right? Woo. Put him down there. So that's him, man. And I get more poses. Even though you tell me all about time back color variance. Yeah. I mean, I knew about it, but that was the first time it got to be a problem for me. You can imagine the times you use the booger. Yeah, it's like, I think it'll be good for thumbnails. That way it's more recognizable, because it's very hard to make, like the thumbnail I have today. It's very hard to get a stock image of a squirrel and make him stand out, because squirrels are supposed to camouflage. So, you know, their fur is doing their job. It's hard to make him stand out. You put, oh, did I put one behind my cam? Oh, I'm sorry. There we go. Now you can see all of them in his glory. So yeah, it was very hard to make a gray squirrel with camouflage fur pattern stand out. And I was obviously very limited on poses because I was just searching for stock photos. But now I have a character that I can use regularly, and he'll be on the thumbnail. So when people see him, and I tried to make recognizable thumbnails with the borders, and then those were kind of shooting me in the foot. I really liked the borders. It's like, okay, you know, this greenish colored one for ttrpgs, this brown one for just random videos, and you know, whatever. That was just me trying to sort and have everything nice and tidy, but it didn't work. So removing the border makes the thumbnails look better, but I need something good to put on there. Still trying to settle on some text colors and font styles, but we'll get there. I'm going to try and start using him in 2026. Not for my dumb video, but from videos on after that. Your view on this may be skewed by the number of squirrels in your home. It's true. It might be. It might be. Yeah, you still get your stock squirrel in the videos. I've thought about. I'm torn on whether or not it would be beneficial to have him in the videos with different poses. Like, it would look better, air quotes, but I don't know if it'd actually be better. So I don't know. I like the stock squirrel too. He's fun to have bouncing around doing dumb stuff with. So I just don't know if it gets more confusing if people like see one thing on the thumbnail and then something different in the video. Plus I have all the stick figures. I don't know. I'm sure Glee can tell me all my branding mistakes I'm making, but we'll figure it out. We do need to get some fonts figured out. We do. I've tried a couple different ones and I don't know. Jazz squirrel, best squirrel. All right, so let's see. Let's go back to, where's my video? That's not it. Did I lose my video? Oh, well, there it is. I thought I was a tab of my channel open. But I'm curious to your thoughts on the avatar during the videos, so again, let me know your thoughts down below. Now, next topic, and we're getting to the end here. Let's talk a bit about the Squirrel collaboration shenanigans. Some of you have probably already caught me on some streams with Avenue Studios, so it's probably not a big surprise there that I've gotten more work lined up to do with them. I reached out to them a few months ago to see what all I could put on their plate, and we decided we're going, gee, maybe that's where I went wrong. I worked them to death. To have what we'll call Scratter Days, which will typically be Saturday, but really it's whenever. So, for phones are extremely difficult for GM. So the idea here was, because I made this video right when we were in talks, like I had done stuff with Avenue Studios before, and then we were getting, I guess, more personal, getting to know each other better, and doing more stuff together. And I had reached out at some point, and I was like, hey, you know, I got authors/devs reaching out to me wanting to test their game. I don't have a pool of players. You guys put on a wonderful show. It's like, it's very high production value. Seems like a good combo, you know, that everybody could benefit from. I get the author and the dev. They come run us a game. You get to be the players, put on the show. You get some views. I get content for a review later. We all win. And, you know, they get to publicize their game. So they were like, yeah, that sounds cool. We'll call it Scratter Days. And I was like, sweet. I'm famous. I get a day named after me. So we did that. I did meet Dave from Grimwood there. We did that. I feel like we had a very full month or two. Like, we almost played a game a weekend. And that was not, we had no intention of keeping that up. It just so happened I had a backlog to work through, and we got everybody scheduled. And I'm trying to remember how all this went down, because it was pretty early in the year. What did happen first? So many things happened. So we ran some games like Hellborn there. And then Dan from Avenue Studios, he wanted to dial it down. And like I said, we had no intentions of doing a game a weekend anyway, but he was wanting to dial down even further. Because Dan runs Avenue Studios, his channel, differently than I do. We have different interests. He's made several comments about how he has to support his hobby. And World Shapers. Yeah, we did World Shapers on there too. That's right. That was a Saturday. So he tries to make money off his streams, which is a hard thing to do, especially when you're a small channel. And I don't understand what he needs a lot of money for as far as supporting the hobby. It's like, well, we're getting games for free because these people give us copies of their game so we can play it and promote it. I mean, I don't know if he's like going through equipment or something over there. So we had a little difference of opinion there as far as money goes. Like, he was more interested in making money, and I wasn't. It's like, I mean, if y'all want to give me money, I'll take it, but it's not a goal. Later twice did. So that's why he always had those during the streams. He was like, okay, we're going to set up this thing where people donate and they can kind of not change the story, but throw the GM a curveball. It's like, hey, like if we're playing Easy D6, here's $5. Give that player a hero die or something like that. Minis are expensive. Yeah, I was saying, if they're doing that, and I know outside of Scratter Days, and maybe this, now that I'm saying this out loud, maybe this is why they were trying to make more money. Like some of their other production they did, it did cost money. Like they were doing costumes and getting the makeup stuff out, like painting somebody green. I forgot what he was supposed to be. I think he's like an orc or something. You know, they're putting on like studio grade costumes, right? And doing this, buying stuff for their sets. So like, yeah, if they were doing all that, then obviously you gotta make money, because that is expensive. Scratter Days I didn't think was costing any money, because like I said, we just showed up and played. But I wasn't there behind the scenes, so I don't know. But anyway, he was doing all that, and we never argued about it. I was like, I wasn't a big fan of the money angle, like getting people to donate and mess with the game, because the dev / Arthur was there to show off his game and how it works. And it's like, okay, some games it might be good to show off how you can handle a curveball, but this might kind of mess up their presentation at the same time. But I will say, yeah, full costumes and sets, it's a very high production over there. But I was going to say, everybody we brought on board was a fan of that little money donate thing, and, you know, messing with the game while we were playing. So I was like, okay, well, if they're all fine with it, I guess I'm fine. You know, I'll just grumble about it in the corner. But and then me and Jacob had a chat about it when we got Scotty on there. So I was talking with Jacob, and I was like, all right, Jacob, it's like, you know how I feel about the money thing. And I was like, Scotty doesn't need us. Like, it's kind of weird. I feel kind of weird using him to make money. So it was like, he's doing us a favor by showing up. And because like everybody knows who Scotty is. Like, we're not promoting anything here. So we're just having a good time. But I think that was the last thing. I think that might have been the last Scratter Day we had. Like I said, so many different things happen. I'm trying to remember the order. It is a tough intersection. Like we just had different things, and I felt weird about the money. Like I said, especially with Scotty. But that's what he wanted to do, and like I said, there was no fuss, no muss. It was just like, okay, yeah, I guess that's what you're gonna do. But then before it became a problem, if it ever was gonna be a problem, he wanted to dial back even more, because he was working on Monster Love, Death, and Monsters. That's what it was called. Dave, you can correct me if I'm wrong, because you ran that a few times. And on the money note, like, I had all that disabled on my channel, and then one random stream, somebody donated like $20 or something, and I was like, what? And somebody else donated $5, and I'm like, this is not even supposed to be on. I have specifically turned that off. But YouTube was like, no, that's on now. So I was like, okay, well. Now I really can't say anything. Yes, you can still call my stream Scratterday. What was I saying? Yeah, so he had like this Kickstarter thing all planned for Love, Death, and Monsters, which was a adventure module, not a game system. Pretty cool adventure, and he had a big Kickstarter planned. And then I think he decided, like, he had the page and everything made, and then he decided not to do the Kickstarter. And then for like 2 months straight, he was going to do a bunch of streaming on Avenue Studios, and everything he collected during those weren't Scratterday streams. He was doing some kind of monster marathon. Like, there was a monster theme for a month or two. Like, month 1 was horror, and month 2 was kind of a kaiju thing. So anyway, he did that, and the idea was, well, that's going to be his Kickstarter. So he was going to raise money through all the streams, and everything he raised through the streams was going to go to the Love, Death, and Monster project. So I was like, okay, well, you know, that put Scratterdays to the side. And remember, all through this, he was trying to dial back because he needed more time with the family and kids and everything, and just less time being a YouTuber. So all through that, he's dialing back, and, you know, Scratterdays are getting farther and farther back there. And then it just got to the point, I was like, well, family first, man. You know, it's like, if you ever want to have Scratterday, we can. And it just, like I said, it kept dialing back. And then I think it just kind of fizzled. What are we putting? I don't know if you've seen the Selena Gomez stream, but you reminded me of... Oh, sounds familiar. But anyway, I think we just kind of whoop. Because me and Jacob, that's right, because Dan and Jacob were part of Avenue Studios. Dan, he was dialing back, and then he just, I think he got down to the point, like, he was going to just do one stream a week, just some mini campaigns he's going to do, and then he was joining another stream, which he got roped into hosting and having to do all the technical stuff. So technically 2 streams a week. He was trying to juggle that. And then that's about when me and Jacob started getting together, because Jacob wasn't able to join all the Scratterdays and wanted to. But also didn't want to deal with donations. Like, he just wanted to play and run games. So that's when we started doing stuff. Yeah, me and him started doing stuff. We started doing stuff on my channel. I don't think they were Scratterdays. I think we're just playing games, and it's like, yeah, here's a GM, professional GM that I can borrow, who can run a bunch of games for me that I can go review when the dev isn't around to run it for us, like Tricube Tales or Tactics. So that was convenient, and that lasted for a little while, and then Gen Con came around, and he was there for a day, disappeared, and I haven't heard from him since. You all know how that goes. And then that's how I inherited Moss and Stone, which, making a big circle here, this is going to affect Nuts. My plan for Nuts, the book I was talking about at the beginning of this and how I want to do that, all of that's getting kind of pushed to the back burner because I have to deal with Moss and Stone now. This was supposed to be a 2-man project, and then 1 man disappeared, and now I'm having to do that, and there's already interest there, and it's moving along pretty Tri-Cube tables. And it's moving along pretty good. I mean, I took a break December because we had Christmas, so I was dealing with that. But 2026, as soon as that starts up, I will be firing Moss and Stone back up. And we actually ran a Moss and Stone game during Christmas, so we'll be back into that. So that's something I deal with. And then, yeah, so all that happened. So like a little piece would fizzle, and then another would light up, and then that would fizzle, and another piece would light up. And then just a couple days ago, old Danny boy from Avenue Studios reached out, and he's like, hey, we're getting this hobby space thing more figured out. As long story short, he's like, you know, if you want a player, I'm down for joining. If you want to come over and play, you know, we're down to have you. So you might be seeing Dan and his wife, because I ran them. It might have been on their channel. Now I think about it, I ran them through that Nuts Fallout game. It was super fun. So maybe do more things like that. Don't know. But yeah, so he dialed back, and now I guess he's dialing up a little bit, or getting more efficient with his time and figured out. I don't know. So that's what happened with the collaboration. An attempt was made
in the morning. And sometimes being on stream just isn't something the developer wants to do or is comfortable with, or isn't able to do it for some reason or another. If we can't get the author to do it, it will most likely be up from Avenue Studios to run it. We probably just, as well as a same token, since he's a professional GM running 1,000 games a week, it's kind of hard to find the time. That's
pretty much everything I just said.
To be Peter's game tail. Very next
what
day,
we were gonna do, and we did.
In a month is nothing to sneeze at. All those TTRPGs, enjoy it and get a Nuts campaign. That's right. We're going to put it to a bigger test. It's going to be in the Weird West setting we used for a one-shot.
So we were going to do a Nuts campaign on Avenue Studios. It was going to be all ladies. It was going to be fun. Maybe. I don't know. Might have been miserable. Never know. But it was going to be a Weird West campaign in Nuts. A short one. A few months. I hear cats getting into something out there. I think a box. But it didn't happen because we were, like I said, that was in everybody's brain space at the beginning of the year, while Avenue Studios had all this other stuff going on while trying to dial down at the same time. He wasn't going to be in it. It was going to be his wife, Glee, and then a friend of theirs, Avenue Studios. I think it was just going to be the three ladies. I think. So anyway, like we were waiting for schedules to line up because things were changing. I think with everybody, the friend was wrapping something up. Glee's schedule was changing. And Kristen was with Dan trying to dial back. So juggling all that, we were waiting for the stars to align, then everything just kind of fizzled out. So that said, might be trying to run it in 2026. I don't know if it'll be all ladies. Might be a couple ladies in a great mustache. We'll see. I gotta ask him. Zachzania said she's down for it. Glee's still down for it. There's no reason it has to be ladies. I just thought it would be funny. So that's going to depend on Moss and Stone, how that develops, which takes me into, actually I'll hold that thought.
We did a while back, and I will be the one running. That'll be us speaking Grimwood Bound review, using and testing out his Plaguebound system, which, if you saw my Ironbound review, you will know is the fantasy version of Ironbound.
So, I did join the Plaguebound campaign, and we got to the end of it. And then we were like, hey, let's do another one. So I'm still in it. We're about to wrap that one up, too. I think he says we got like 2 or 3 more sessions left, and then I think that'll be it for Plaguebound. So I've been playing that this whole year. I've been, the mushroom. It's been very fun.
It's also only supposed to run a couple months, I believe, and should be starting at the end of January, but is dependent on some moving parts on his end, so we will see. Looking forward to that race I can play as, so bonus points for that. And last but not least, I will continue to join the Inn of Planar Crossroads for our weekly chats about TTRPG-related things.
Still doing that. I think he's in the process still of a break because he had some tech issues and he's kind of reorienting his channel, but we have been recording content while the break is going on. It's just super fun. It doesn't get a lot of views, unfortunately. It's very podcasty style, just listening to dudes talk. I love being a part of it because it's a very good creative challenge. Well, we'll take something, sometimes we'll take a song, sometimes we'll take a concept, just whatever. And then it's like, okay, now we got to make a world based off this or inspired by this. Make a world, some NPCs, some problems, some factions, things like that. I love it. It's super fun to dig into. So that's still going on.
I know we don't do any of that fancy, flashy, modern editing, trying super hard to keep your attention kind of work over there, mostly because we're all old and tired, but trust me, there's some good ideas brewing.
Oh, you can see too. That's when I was still using just a squirrel avatar because I was like, do I get on camera? What do I do? With the falling through stuff. Yeah, I'll say it's like it kind of fell through, but didn't really.
Over there, and I've gotten a lot of good inspiration from it. As a matter of fact, one of the settings I want to make for a nuts module was thanks to some of the creative extras to see me try and stay awake. We record while slowing down. The struggle is real, man. All right, I got a couple random tidbits. As some of you know, 2024 streaming wagon. I'd like to get back into it, but I'm not sure what to stream other than map making, but I do really enjoy hanging out with you guys and chatting. So if you have any ideas or suggestions for...
I love making maps, just hanging out in the stream. Might do more of those for Moss and Stone. I mean, you got to make some maps to play to run the game and whatnot, right? So maybe... I'm not going to make them a goal. But like if they come up, I got a map to draw. I was like, all right, I might just fire up the stream.
For what to took all the Maverick bosses from Mega Man X.
Okay, here's one I didn't finish. We did this a couple times. I think we did 1 or 2 streams of it. I took all the Mega Man X bosses and turned them into monsters for TTRPGs. It was super fun. And this is what happened with a lot of my map making and other project streams is I would do the bulk of it on stream, like the fun, like we did with Moss and Stone. It's like, here's the fun stuff, watch me throw spaghetti at the wall. And then when it got to the nitty gritty stuff, it's like, okay, I'm not going to stream that because 1, it takes a little more focus, and 2, it's kind of boring. Like that's, but what happens is all those little projects got to that point and just petered out, and they're still sitting there waiting to be done because I would go on to the next stream and the next project and be like, all right, I got to do this, keep it going. But nothing was getting finished. The pipe just got clogged.
And turned them into TTRPG enemies. Wrap that one up. We also did Squirrel.
Oh, yeah.
Fun.
Technically,
still haven't finished that, so we could wrap that one up. Relevant to the channel other than it being I
did play Squirrel with a gun on
thoughts
stream.
And suggestions in the comments down below.
I won't play video games on stream. I tried a couple times last year, I think, or maybe before that. It confuses YouTube. I would love to just sit there and play some games and hang out. Maybe I make a second channel for that. A Squirrel Hangs Out, and that's where I can just fire up a game, do whatever. That's the hangout stream. Maybe I wish you could do things on that like that without confusing YouTube. Just like you could mark it, this is not important. Don't worry about it. Yeah, no, it was super fun. I enjoyed it. It was great because all the Mavericks for Mega Man X, they're all got their own gimmicks and things they do. So I did play Squirrel with a gun because it was a squirrel. I felt like I had to, but that's all I'm saying. Like it's probably the last thing I did. Because it does confuse YouTube, and kind of hard to get onto it for that. Because like, okay, you make all this TTRPG content and writing content, and then you decide to stream a video game. That's on you. Discord, chill, stream, hangout guy. Oh yeah, yeah. Squirreled away. We're playing it offline. Squirrel without a gun.
And probably what is most important to me and least important to y'all, I will be continuing my struggle with writing. As of making this, I am almost done fixing what errors I can find in Bashkim. For those of you.
So this is the big thing. So amidst all of this YouTube stuff, YouTube, TTRPG, conventions, all of that, writing is at the top. Like everything is supposed to go to it, lead to it. I made YouTube as a way to build a community because book. So that said, there's a very loud truck outside. That said, I don't think I wrote a single thing all this year. I spent the whole year fighting with editors or trying to find one that would do their job. I got Bashkim fixed, what I'm talking about in the video here. But the next book I'm on, it was done, ready to be edited when the year started. Matter of fact, I found an editor before in 2024, and she couldn't start on it till like late January 2025. And she did, and then she did absolutely nothing. So that has been my writing journey in 2025, is fighting with editors, and it has not been great, and I'm still struggling. So I think what I'm going to do in 2026 is, while I continue to fight and struggle and bicker with editors and continue to waste my money, there is this site. I'm still unfamiliar with it. I want to do more research. It's this site called Royal Road, and it's what what do they call them? Web novels, I think. Your chapter structures, I mean, it's a story, it's a book, but like it's structured a little different because it's meant for short reading bursts, things like that. It's a little different, but people can just post chunks, small chunks of their book at a time, kind of like a blog post. I hear you can gain a following there. I got an air purifier running, so I can't hear that kind of background. He's just out there. Idiot. But anyway, I've heard good things about Royal Road. Yeah, kind of like a fan fiction, but there's a lot of original authors that get found there, and they'll generate a following there, and then stuff they write and post, they'll go on to publish in physical book form. I want to say, from what little I know, Royal Road is a lot like those fan fiction sites, but more professional, less fan fiction-y. I have opinions about fan fiction. So I'm going to try that. I have a story idea it's outside the Kesho Knight universe. It's actually about squirrels. It's going to be very dark and depressing, actually, but it's going to be about squirrels. So I want to try and spend a chunk of the year writing that and get it self-edited, fixed up the best I can, and then cut it up in a bunch of pieces and start posting regularly just to see how it works. And that way I have something to write while having this battle with the Kesho Knight universe. So I'll be juggling a couple books at the same time while writing Nuts and writing Moss and Stone and writing YouTube scripts. Because I need more to do. So, all that to say, I've been very disappointed with 2025 as far as writing goes.
For you that don't know, the copy editor I hired for this book did the worst job imaginable.
Don't use Reedsy. I'm telling you right now, do not use Reedsy. I've had terrible luck with that site.
On this, and then bail to use. I'm really separate editors, so he'll get back onto my exactly looking this one up first, because me and
now we'll say, on the note of editors, Jacob's wife Michelle, she does copy editing. So if you want to hire somebody for a copy edit, there you go. She doesn't have a web page I can hook you up with. She's just word of mouth on that one. You can reach out to me if you need her, or reach out to him.
Dave from Grimwood Games have been playing with the idea of sharing.
You almost use, yeah. I mean, like, they have some kind of standard for hiring people. Like, you have to have worked at a physical place, like an official business as an editor. You have to have that experience. Because like they wouldn't let Michelle get on there because even though she is a good copy editor, she does not have professional experience. She could probably just lie about it. I seriously doubt Reedsy is calling these places up and saying, hey, did Michelle work here? They're not doing that. So I've used Reedsy twice, one for a line editor, one for a dev editor, and it was horrible. It was horrible. Like they just took my money and ran for the hills.
A booth at a convention or two. He'd sell Ironbound.
I've also heard a lot of, not rumors, comments. I've seen a lot of comments about editors getting busted for using AI. So, but I don't think that's a Reedsy problem. That's probably just everywhere. So, I mean, how are you going to filter that out, right?
And I'd attempt to sell my book or books, depending on when we actually get around to it, Lord willing. And
yeah, so this is what I was talking about, splitting booths. If I have something to sell, which I don't know if I will, come next Gen Con or whatever con, me and Dave and some other folks have talked about splitting a booth at a convention, like get one of the bigger ones, but we all go in on it. So we get a good spot, you know. Might be something to do. Why is the apostrophe in the wrong place? That's where it goes. That is the correct Southern punctuation of y'all. And y'all's is Y-A apostrophe L-L apostrophe S. It's the Southern way to do it.
To wrap all this up,
of course, you're in Texas. You should know this.
Shout out to everyone making this whole thing possible. Shout outs to Avenue Studios for wanting to work with me and test all these games. Managing to all of you wouldn't be going anywhere.
Many thanks to everybody.
And everyone was. It's taken me a while, but I am scared with you a lot.
So that's all that is.
Squirrel out.
Squirrel out. So that's that. Never it all instead of you. Don't ever get him started. You do. I do need an editor. I really do. So let's see. I had a couple notes here. I talked about the writing issues. TTRPG duos. So I tried that in Krigmas, and I thought that was pretty darn fun. I would like to do some more of those because that's a heck of a lot easier to schedule. That's all I got on that one. I talked about moving the boat. Actually, I said I'd save it for later. And then I said I was going to get into it later, and then I immediately got into it. So moving the boat is making more videos that focus on either writing or a writing perspective of things. Because like I said, I feel like a lot of people came here for that, and I'm not really giving it to them, but they're still hanging around because, you know, they're like, well, I like the squirrel and I like his videos, but it's not what I'm here for, man. So I'm going to try and do that. And I think my first one might be about tone, like I mentioned, and then I got some notes, and I'm just trying to remember them. Someone was about good and bad characters. You know, why do some people think this character is bad, and then how does that work in a TTRPG setting? Because on one hand, there is a lot of crossover between writing and then TTRPG prepping, planning, and doing things, but at the same time, they're miles apart. So, but it's interesting to look where those differences come up. So, like, what people would think is a bad ending to a story. What is unsatisfying? The most common one that's brought up is like, oh, you know, at the end of the movie when the character wakes up and it's like, oh, it was all just a dream. Some people hate that. Some people are fine with it. It gets ragged on pretty hard, but it's like, take that, talk about why that might be perceived as bad, and then say, well, how does this work in a TTRPG thing? Like, how would you feel after going through an entire campaign only to find out it wasn't real? So that way you get both worlds there, the TTRPG and then the writing side of it. And some of the more writing-esque videos I've done, I've always had the Squirrel disclaimer on there about write what you want. And I try to be very careful not to say, this is a bad character. Yes, it is a cat. Because some characters, are not as strong or as good as others, and it's hard to say in the creative space when something is objectively bad. And I don't want to be the guy making writing rules, because something I have learned in the writing world is that there's rules and there's no rules at the same time. You can do, in fiction anyway, whatever you want, and you can make it work. Now, the odds of your success of making it work might be higher in other areas. So that's like, some people pick on specific tropes and they're like, oh, never use this. That's too tropey. It's like, you can take that and make it work. The Superman trope, the Almighty, or not Superman. What is the male equivalent of the Mary Sue? I forget. I have no idea what that's called. I forgot. Everybody knows what a Mary Sue is. The first Vampire Hunter D novel, D, the main character, is 100% a Mary Sue. But it was done in such a way that it was still a good read. But if you follow internet advice, it's like, don't make a Mary Sue. It's like, we wouldn't have had that. And that was a wild, crazy, very fun book. Gary Stu. Is that what it's called for real? Finding a lot of story characters unfulfilling for the same reason as it'd be bad for TTRPGs. For some time now, my suspension of disbelief gets broken by author Fiat Tropes. Is that Fiat or Flat? I can't see the text. Hello, cat. Headbutting me. So, I would say there is some common ground there between those two worlds, Griffin, but sometimes they're like way different. Like dialogue. Dialogue is... You're not writing the dialogue in a TTRPG game. Your players are, and they're usually being very silly. So, that's a fun one. So things like that. That's what I want to get into. Without coming off as authoritative, which is usually the Squirrel disclaimer. It's write what you want and do what you want. These are just things to consider and look out for. That may or may not help. Hello, kitty. Would you like to come over here and be a part of the stream? There you go. Okay, we're here now. So that's that. Moving the boat, I talked about Royal Road, video game reviews. We talked about why I don't do those. Lost and Stone, we talked about how that's going to affect nuts and push it on the back burner. The only other thing I have is a new microphone. I might buy me one this year. I don't know. I wanted to do this stream in my closet where I actually record audio for my videos, but my laptop can't handle the streaming, so but I just kind of wanted to show y'all the inside look back there, but you don't get to see it. So I might buy me a new microphone, because that microphone, I've had it for about 10 years, I think, and I bought it used. So at some point, it's going to have to give, and I want to be prepared for that day. Weren't you thinking about a squirrel? Oh, yeah, no, the squirrel stream. I want to get proper cameras on the house, because I have a little goldfish pond over there. Yeah, the nature stream, and I want to get that camera pointing right on that, and, plug it into here. But the camera's not just for YouTube. That'd be for me too, like catching the possums and raccoons coming by in the middle of the night when I'm sleeping, so I can see them. But I could have that on the stream as well. So I'd like to do that, but that might be a little expensive. Gotta save up money. Greetings, everyone. I'm here to hear the tale of the great king of the acorns. Well, kind of missed it. So I guess really 2025, The only things that really fell through were the collaboration things. And I can't even say they really fell through because we did them, and then people just kind of went their different directions after we did a handful of them, and they might be somewhat coming back. So, the writing was a booger. I made the videos. So I guess 2025 was okay. I didn't do too bad. The cat tells its story with its meow. There's always the VOD. There is the VOD. So for 2026, like I said, I'm not going to be near as ambitious as Dave is. I had to watch your video twice, Dave. I was like, what? He's doing so much. Did I hear that right? So, yeah, 2026, I just want to be more focused. Not more focused on the YouTube as in make more videos. I just want the channel to have, I want people to more easily know what they're getting into. And that might help YouTube figure out what this channel is, because I kind of bounce a little bit. I am your worst critic. Yeah. Okay, so I said this at the beginning of the stream. Dave, you're going to go to 8 to 10 conventions 2026. You're going to go to 8 to 10 conventions, play 20 TTRPGs, introduce 2 to 3 new people to the hobby who have no previous experience or knowledge. And what I didn't mention at the beginning of the stream is you're also going to write one adventure, or you're going to do each month a 1-page adventure or game system. I think that's everything. There might be more. That's a lot. Because like I said, I played a ton of games last year and I didn't hit 20. Not that I was trying to, but like, that's just, and those are 20 new systems that you have to learn. Just try to schedule 20 games. That one's the hardest? Yeah, for sure. 1 convention and 2 new games a month, basically. Plus writing an adventure. You hit 40? I don't believe that. You love the new squirrel art? Thanks, man. I didn't make it myself. There we go. Get his name out front center. Manny. He's been super chill to work with. Super fun. Like I said, we got on a couple video calls, and I was like, move his ears over here. Add a little, all the different hairstyles we went through. He had like this mohawk thing going on at one time. It was fun. Convention will help. That's true. You can just go to the convention. Yeah, okay. See, when I think of playing the game, I'm thinking of all the stuff I have to go through when I do it. Because when I'm playing a new one, it's to do a review. And to do a review, it's like I have to really learn it and get in there and make notes. Whereas a convention, I guess you could just go pop a squat and play. Get the general idea. Yeah, 12 games on your shelf. Well, okay, well, yeah, I don't have a shelf, but I have a folder full of PDFs waiting to be played. You'll need to start linking to Igmani in the description. Yeah, I should. You should. I can't say thumbnail by because I'm still making it, but I can say art. Squirrel art by. And do you find all these friends to play with, or do we already answer it? So, this is what I've been telling people, half jokingly, when they talk about, I don't know, how do you find people to play games with? I was like, just start a YouTube channel. That's what I did, and now I have no troubles finding people to play. I haven't had the struggle of, and I'm very blessed and thankful for this. I have not had the struggle of trying to find people to play with, because I got folks like Avenue Studios over there who are just willing to jump in, and they're super role play oriented. Adam from Planar Crossroads, when he has the time, he gets into the role play side of things so good, and he's so good about bringing you into that with him. And like, he doesn't hog the spotlight. He's just like, he will drag your character into it with him. It's so good. I wish he had more time for games. Post on my channel and tell people this day and this time I can play a whole new category of art. Squirrel art. There's no good time to bring this up, but your casual and friendly style inspires me to lean more into making and putting stuff out myself. Hey, thanks, man. That's actually the point of the channel. I'm actually glad you brought that up, because some of the older videos I get into it more. It's like, hey, this community to show off your stuff. And when I was doing that, it wasn't just TTRPGs. It's like, if you're writing something, like, what's his name? It started with an N. I'm terrible with names. He has since left the server, but he would share some of his writing projects. So it's like, yeah, if you're painting, drawing, writing, working on TTRPGs, be it your own game system, an adventure module, or a hack for something else, or you're just cooking, whatever you're doing, like, come to the server and share it. And it's not a place of like, well, everybody put on your critique hats and tell them where he went wrong. It's like, no, just put it out there and get a little boost, Whereas you have something like Peter's server, Tales from Elsewhere, it's very design focused. And if you're at that crunchy stage where you want some good feedback and, you want people to pick this apart, like, that's the next step. You go to Peter's server and, they won't tear it apart, but you're going to be surrounded by game designers who will have significantly more input, whereas the Squirrel community is like, hey, let's just show off what we're working on and get some, a little feedback here and there and a little motivation to keep going. Got my first player a few days after joining Squirrel. It was very exciting. Yeah. I also want to, I don't know if you're good with being on stream, but like, I would like for you to run your game for me and a couple other players. I think I told you that in DMs. This close to starting to upload videos, man, once you start, you got to keep going. You could put on your critique hack. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like, because see, I was in this writing group for a while, and we would meet every week and share what we were working on and read it to each other. And it was all positive. They were just like, oh, I love this. This was so fun. Nobody had an actual critique. And part of me is like, well, this is stupid. This is a waste of time. But it was also very good for me. Like, it gave me a big positive boost. So I'm still torn on that group because, like, it has a short shelf life. Like, I went through there. It's like, well, there's no need for me to stay now. Because I got everything I can get out of this. Now I can stick around and, give that back. But I really don't want the Squirrel community to be like that. I do like some critiques, and people do offer like, hey, I wouldn't, like, there's a guy who came through a conspiracy of ravens. He was in there showing off his game, and I was like, yeah, it's too crunchy for me, but I really liked this, and this. This is very neat. Your tone was a little rough here in the manual, but blah, blah, blah. Like, you can still give critiques, but it's mostly, I feel like it's just because of the way the community is, it leans more towards positivity to give you that boost to keep going to the more difficult stage of critiques. Not exactly intentionally designed that way. It's just kind of how it came out. I would very much like to do that. I'm just skittish because I don't normally use VTT maps or anything fancy. Also not a super good GM. Yeah, that's right. Because yeah, I remember you talking about that and wanting to get back into GM thing. So maybe we'll do offline. But I am interested in the game because it seemed like some really cool concepts. It never stops once you start. I've been trying to start something called Project Pals for years. Just homies meeting every Monday to review the week's project. Yeah. And that's kind of what Squirrel, I mean, we don't have the schedule, but it's like I have the channel set up where you can post projects. And because it's mostly TTRPG people here, that's mostly what's there. And I think that's just kind of what people expect now. It's like, oh, this is a ttrpg community. It's like, technically not really, but yes. So you're supposed to be able to put your projects in there so you have somewhere to post. You can't really tell who's watching it though, which can be discouraging because it looks like if nobody's responding, it doesn't look like anybody's watching, but people are. So it's somewhere to kind of post and not feel a lot of pressure, and you can just put updates like, hey, I made this change, and sometimes that sparks a discussion. Not a super good GM yet. That's right. I went in on that too, Scrat. See, there's one game on my list. Yeah. See there? Squirt art is amazing. Oh, squirrel art. Squirt art. That don't sound right. But it could look cool. So, let's see. You are, yeah. Blaze is watching. He's watching for competition. It tells an amazing story. Yeah, doesn't it though? So anyway, that's kind of what the community is supposed to be. Just to get people making stuff, and I might be just preaching to myself, but something I had to learn recently. A lot of us got that creative itch and no outlet. So finding that and then putting it out there, even if it's just for a little group to see, just having somebody see it and make a comment here and there. It's very nice to have. About to finish my first draft for my game, and I'm nervous what people are going to think of it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, getting out here on a stream and showing off my nuts. Boy, that's never going to get old. That was infinitely less nerve-wracking than having to go to that writing group and read to everybody out loud my writing. Oh, man. That was a huge hump to get over. But I did it. It's all the difference just to talk about your project for 30 seconds. Yeah. I'm 6 years deep into solo, no following world. So, yeah, and this is the other side of this is a problem you have to watch out for too. And I see this a lot in the writing community because I've probably been in that a lot longer than the TTRPG community. You get these writing communities and people will share their work and, kind of present it. And what happens is the writers end up trying to write for a writing community, which is an overuse of the word write. But that's a problem because the writing community, or, insert community name here, will never be satisfied with what you make, and you will chase your tail till you die trying to make that community happy. And if you ever do something, like if you have a really small community and you do end up making them happy, that will be the crappiest product ever because they are not your audience. And I've seen that in the TTRPG design spaces. Like, everybody's designing for designers. And it's like, okay, well, you have alienated your entire audience. Unless your audience is other designers, in which case, God bless you, because you're going to need it. So, it's a really good point, the thing about writing for writers. Yeah, and it's such an easy thing to fall into because when you're in that community or that group, you're getting a lot of support. And it feels good. And, you're probably learning a thing or two. But then you forget, like when I write a book, the average reader is going to miss 95% or more of what I write. And I don't mean like they're going to miss books. Like, they're going to read the story. They're going to miss all the little hidden things between the lines, a lot of the parables and foreshadowing, but they can still enjoy the book. And that's fine. That's fine. As long as they're enjoying it. Like, that is my goal. But if I do all this fancy, elite literature writer techniques for all the writers, it's going to make the story very bad. Or very hard to read. And not be very enjoyable. And we wouldn't have Vampire Hunter D. Magician's Magic, though, I don't know that one. Make what makes you happy. There you go. Bless your heart counters. People think The Boy Who Cried Wolf is about not telling lies. Ooh, he's getting deep. He's going deep. So that is something I don't want the Squirrel community to end up being, as designing for designers or writing for writers. It's just a good little uplift kind of. Actually, Glee, if you remember, we were talking about this not long ago. It's like the first stepping stone. I forgot what we called it. To your greater adventure in life. So like if you want ttrpg design, writing, painting, whatever, like that's your first little stepping stone. Going to sleep now. Good night. Whoa, you're going to bed on time. Everybody congratulate Blaze. Actually, it's kind of early, isn't it? Hang on. You ain't allowed to go nowhere yet. It's 9 o'clock where you're at. That's early. Blaze must not be feeling well. Not the funnest subject, but talking about like how to publish something would probably help. Yeah. The problem is that's such a messy industry right now. Like it's the Wild West. You just kind of do what you want. I don't know. I'd also like to have a couple more publications under my belt before doing that, instead of doing something once and be like, let me tell you how this works. I think that's entirely what has got me nervous. I'm trying something that I haven't seen anywhere else with my game. Designing for designers, I worry would stamp out what could be a good idea. Yeah, that is a good thing to be mindful of. And it does make sense. You woke up at 5. Okay. All right. So, yeah. And that's the thing. Like, when you're in that group and 10 out of 10 people in that group say this is a bad idea, either that means one of two things. Either it is a bad idea or you have stumbled upon something new and fantastic. So, just got to figure out what you want to do with it. You feel like crap? Okay, well, go to bed. What's your thoughts on Slug Blaster, King of the Acorns? Slug Blaster? I don't know about that one, Chief. Oh, Griffin Spade's gonna learn what Boy Who Cried Wolf is about. The tabletop RPG, I mean. Oh, Slug Blaster, King of the Acorns. I mean, it's a pretty cool title. Yes, Glee. It is just Sabbath, and it is, I believe. I might be telling lies, but I feel like I recognize that name. So that's what we're trying to do here. Very chill, very relaxed place. And I don't push people to be on the stream. Like, the guy who made TriCube, I was like, hey, you want to run us a game? He's like, no. I was like, okay. We'll run it. I'll just judge you a little bit. I've always had fun running games for folks who never played TTR. I've never done that because I'm fairly new to the hobby. So, new players are best players. No baggage, just imagination. That's right. I only know that people have been talking about Beyond Final Fantasy. Is that it? Oh, I think I know. Oh no, wait, that was somebody's name. I'm totally off in left field. Never mind. Slug Blaster is actually where I got my game's advancement. I took and tweaked the beat system. There's Garbage and Glory. I haven't played it, but it's got a neat little mechanic with poker cards for scrapping and salvaging and crafting things, and somebody in the Discord is making a very cool looking game where you play as like frogs and whatnot, kind of purifying the wetlands, but it takes that crafting, well, doesn't take it. I think it's just inspired by it, that crafting system from Garbage and Glory. Because it makes sense, because like your frogs and you're using bottle caps as shields and stuff and whatnot. No, not you, Dave. This is somebody else. But you are also making one inspired by Garbage and Glory. I guess I'm gonna have to go check out Slug Blaster. That's the thing. I got so many games. Yeah, you are doing what is it, Monsters in Midnight or at Midnight? Current working title. You do a little monster hunting, monster salvaging. Well, I guess that's it. I didn't flub 2025 too bad. And 2026 is Moss and Stone is going to be the difficult one. I think. Not really, because it's going pretty smooth. I'm not looking forward to the Kickstarter part, because I do want to get Sean Bova to do the artwork for Moss and Stone. And if you don't know who Sean Bova is, he's the guy that did the ZD6 artwork. I would really like that. I think it'd be very cool. So I would need to do the Kickstarter to raise money to pay him. And I'm not looking forward to Kickstarter. I don't want to do that. But you got to, because I don't have that kind of money laying around. Hoverboarding meets Rick and Morty. Oh no. Monsters of Midnight. Okay. Spooky. So yeah, that, and then wherever nuts lands, wherever my nuts may fall. Boy, that's a sentence. And then writing. I wish I could say, yep, I'm gonna have the next Kesher Knight Legend on this day. I have no idea, because this editing has been such a fiasco. And I have mentioned this in a couple interviews, might be taking on editing work for I guess a startup company. I guess that's what you call them. She's starting it up. I will be doing some contract editing for them. 50-50 on that one. I don't know. Don't know if I want to do it. Or if the schedule will allow, because it's like, well, if I'm going to do that, I might as well just do it for myself. And like reach out to you guys, be like, hey, you want some editing work? Not copy editing, but like dev editing stuff and coaching, things like that. Might just do it on my own. I don't know. That's something to juggle. If you can at least get a few images first, it will help. For Moss and stuff. Yeah. I'll get some from him first and then use those on the Kickstarter and be like, hey, this is what I want money for. You can get a... Dang it, Dungeon Draft just crashed on you. Oh, no, not Dungeon Draft. I volunteered to do a spot art. Oh, wait, Sabbath, were you the one? Somebody dropped like this wicked cool artwork recently. I don't know how to navigate my own Discord. Memes and me. No, made it myself. Of course, this guy also posted a pretty cool spaceship that he painted. That was neat. It was... Sabbath, can I post this on the board here for everyone to see? Because it was super cool. We're just gonna have some art over here. Hello, cat. I see you. I'm waiting for an answer from Sebelf. Absolutely fantastic. Okay. I'm gonna take his art and put it next to my super cartoony stuff over here. Oh, I love these little sketches though. They're so cool. All right, you can see all this. All right, so if I think I can just, there we go. I got a few. Chicken. And the Gurren Lagann shades over here. All right. I like, this was my favorite. How do I gotta, it's so tall. Trying to get it to where y'all can see it. Maybe it sounds silly for line art, but it actually really like the colors she used. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It works for nuts. Oh, that's like a little transparent over there. Yeah, Crabsoft, they're in my server. He posted them over there. Or she, I don't know. Everybody's a dude on Squirrel server. There we go. Like a tarot. See, that's what I thought too. Griffin Spade, the red one over here, it made me think of a tarot card. It matches the art in the book for the Knights. Yeah. Yeah, no, I thought these were super cool. Like, I'm not going to try and use any art words. Glee will laugh at me. But I liked them. I thought they were cool looking. Kind of darker tone, I guess. Very neat. And then, oh, it's way back there. I forgot his name. I'm forgetting everybody's name. Somebody came through here and they're like, oh yeah, the recent member. They're like, I love GMing because I get to draw for my players. And he posted just the freakiest. I feel like if you post it in the disc, here it is. If you post it in the Discord, I can share it, but I won't share it without permission. But it is there for all to see. The Druidic Abomination by Simon Noodle. That thing's scary. That's terrifying. You'll have to join the server if you want to see that. That's okay. Everyone assumes you're a dude too. Mythic Bastion Land. Hey, I don't have it. So, anyway, that's very cool stuff. See, sometimes. Oh wait, no, here, I know exactly what I'll do. And then, perfect. Sometimes somebody will come in and just post works of art, and then sometimes people like me will just come in and post their own works of art. That is a worm from Moss and Stone with a circular mouth. Can't even tell what it is. So yeah, you're in good company. We'll just put him off to the side. We don't need to see him. Clearly Octopus. Beautifully terrifying. That's right. That's Avenue Studios. There's the man. I was talking about you. Got a hot sec before another family. See, that's what I'm telling y'all. He's got family stuff he's got to take care of. And he has to dial down YouTube. He still makes time for us here and there, though. The worm is gorgeous. Yeah, man. Look at this art. This is what somebody in the server made. I don't know if they're for hire. Sabbath, are you for hire? More of your robot art? What robot art? Where do you sign up? I think there's a link in the description. Beyond Final Fantasy. You talking about like the little thing I drew 5 years ago? Link in the description. That's right. The worm is very clearly a worm. So mission accomplished. Yeah! It's actually a bookworm. They get into the books and then the books fly at you. I don't have any. I don't have another one. Shucks. You have many of them saved. Oh, I think I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about now. I haven't drawn one of those guys in a while. Be more available if it weren't for this darn dang day job. Those are the worst. You know, a little commission here, a little commission there. See, if you have a day job and it's paying the bills and you want to get into the art thing, you can be picky with your commissions since you don't have to depend on them to put food on the table. You tagged me. Above. There's like one robot. Oh, there's another robot. Okay. There's the main robot. There he is. I'll just take this. Here you go. This is professional scrat artwork on a real piece of paper. Isn't it magnificent? Another one. I doodle a little bit, you know. There's 3 in that channel. I know, but some like, oh, this one's super small for some reason. Let's see. How do if I do this? Whee! Did my camera freeze up while I'm doing this? I bet it did. There's another one. Look at a little robot man playing the piano. What a weird mask. Here's the doodle a little bit. I don't think I could draw that anymore. I just do stick figures these days. You stop loving them. Hey, he is on the memory board. You like the piano one best. Well, there's a piano one. There he is. There's some very blurry text that goes with it, but I cut it out. Oh, Grimwood's gonna reach out, maybe. Bomberman, dude. Hey! Like the one other person in the world that knows who Bomberman is. Yeah, that's where the little dilly bopper came from. It isn't Bomberman, but I was a Bomberman fan back in the day. The lips keep on moving. Okay. So like when I use the snipping tool, like everything freezes in place. So I didn't know if it was froze for y'all too. Color invert them, they will look like they were drawn with chalk. Whoa. Big brain grognard. King of the Acorns. Yeah. Big brain tips. You right, Grabsoft. I can't. I actually tried to draw something a couple days ago. It didn't go very well. I can fit black and white drawings into my schedule much more easily, so I feel like a compliment ttrpg work well. I'll definitely let you know. 2. There's another Bomberman fan. Okay. But did any of you play Atomic Bomberman? It was like a PC only game. Windows 95. I'm still not sure that was actually licensed Bomberman IP or not, but it was Bomberman. It's Atomic Bomberman. Very silly game. There's a Bomberman MMO these days where you just drop in and, oh, wow. He has the helmet, the suit, and the bomb, even the detail. Yep. Bomberman influenced. Oh. A puzzle game? I mean, I don't know. I don't think you could call it a puzzle game. Bomberman 64. Dude, Bomberman 64 was so good. And they never made another one like that. It wasn't like any of the other Bomberman games, but it was a very fun game. I still listen to that music. NES and Super Nintendo. It was official by Interplay. Okay, interesting. Agonizing naming characters. Bomberman is your there was so many good games on the 64. There's so many bad games too, but that's beside the point. Let me have my survivorship bias. I guess that's it. We're just sitting and chilling and doing nothing, and the throat's getting dry. So that is 2025. We know vaguely where we're headed in 2026. We're going to play a lot of it by ear. But there will be snazzy new thumbnails, hopefully. I have at least 4 poses to work with, so. Yeah. A puzzle roguelike. Oh no. Anyway, next Thursday, which is the first day of the year, I will drop my silly video, and hopefully it will inspire you to go make something and be silly and have fun. And then regular video content after that. 1 video every 2 weeks, Lord willing. Yay for vagueness. That's right, because then I can't miss if it's vague enough. 4 more hours. Oh no. Yeah, Crash has been up there this whole time. He's just chilling. Being a good cat. Ooh. I bet that was fun. Anyway, I'm going to go get some food, I think. Give me a little lunch. And I will see you in the next video. Be on the lookout for another game stream. Maybe I'll drag Crabsoft into it. We'll see. Later, everyone.